Okay, so all my fat friends want me to make a video on how to make pralines. So I'm actually going to be making these for my wedding, and I need a bunch, and each time I make them, it only makes about 2 dozen. And you can't really make more than that because it's candy and it hardens really fast. So I'm just going to have to make a bunch of batches. Anyway, the first thing that you're going to do, so I thought we'll just start with this, is you're going to take a cup and a half of crushed pecans, and you're going to spread them out on a baking sheet, and we're going to set the oven 275 degrees. So we'll preheat this oven 275. I don't put them in until it's ready. 275, and as soon as that's ready, I'll put those pecans in for 23 minutes on my oven. 20 to 25 minutes. You can measure it out on your oven, but you want to toast your pecans. That's a key. You don't have to, but it makes your pralines better. So I'm going to do that. The other thing that you want to do first before you do anything else is I lay out my parchment paper. I use parchment paper. I don't use wax paper. You're making candy, so you're going to be getting up to like 380 degrees with the pralines. So the wax will transfer onto whatever surface that it's on. So if you have wax paper, that's all you have, that's fine. Just put newspaper underneath it so that you don't end up with wax all over whatever surface you're making. I guess we can go over the ingredients. Basically, you're going to have sugar and more sugar. I use light brown sugar and sugar, a little vanilla. The butter's not out yet. And of course the pecans, and then a half a cup of milk. So it's going to be 1.5 cups of regular white sugar, 1.5 cups of pecans, a half cup of milk. I use fat-free milk, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and 3/4 of a packed cup of light brown sugar. And we'll get started in a minute. Okay, my pecans are toasted, so I'm going to take those out now. My timer just went off. Are you guys getting excited? We're making pralines. So good. Okay, so these are toasted. So I have all of my ingredients are in this. I call this my praline pot because it's kind of become my praline pot. But there's my, oh my goodness, got a little splashy splash going on there. Okay, so I'm going to put my pecans into my pot. Okay. Then I'm going to turn this on. I do medium-high heat. Medium-high. Basically what you're going to do now, this is the least exciting part. You're going to stir this, and basically the stirring will not stop. So I go a little medium-high, a little above medium-high, just to get this butter melted and get it down. The goal isn't to make it really hot really fast. The goal is to heat it up gradually, get it to boiling, keep it at boiling for 5 minutes. That's what we're going to do, and then we're going to take it off the heat and we're going to cool it down until the pecans kind of become suspended in the mixture as it cools, and that's when we're going to start to plate them onto our parchment paper. So basically you just continue to stir this. We will stir this. We will never stop stirring our pralines. If the doorbell rings, if the phone rings, if anything happens, if I get a notification on Facebook, if my dog chokes on something, I'm not leaving my pralines. So just stir, stir, stir. Obviously I'm not going to let this stir for you for 30 minutes. I think everybody knows how to stir. So just stir this. I will come back when it starts to boil. It'll start to foam around the edges. You'll see it at first. That's when you're getting to a boil. As soon as that foam starts, that's when you want to hold that temperature and that heat for 5 minutes. It doesn't sound like it's a very long time, but 5 minutes you want to look at a clock because you'll think, oh my gosh, I'm going to burn this, because it seems like a long time to keep it at that heat. But it's really important that you keep that boiling for 5 whole minutes, and then we'll remove it from the heat and start to cool it. And like I said, we'll put them out on our parchment paper. So that's it for now. So hang in there and keep stirring. And tomorrow your stirring arm is going to be really sore, like you pitched a Major League Baseball game. that means you did it right. If your arm isn't sore, then your pralines are probably terrible, and you'll probably never make these again, and you'll probably send me a message on how terrible my cooking instructions were. You better not, though. Okay, you enjoy stirring, and I will come back when I start to get a little boil on this. Okay, I wanted to add a little note, because I forgot to say it before. Some of the things that you have to pick out that you'll find, you have to find the right size pot. That's pretty important. I never talked about that, so I'll say that now. Based on your mixture, you don't want a pot that's too big and you don't want one that's too small. So finding the perfect size pot, you can see, I don't know if you can kind of see the size of mine. It's just a medium pot. It's not a big one, it's not a little one, it's just right in the middle. Also, your stirring utensil, I like to use like a little, one of the smaller wooden spoons. It's a little thinner. Feels like it goes through my mixture really well, breaking up that sugar, or breaking down that sugar, rather. Also, you can't see it now, I'm not going to leave my pralines. I already had to turn this on, but I have a spoon that I like to use to put them out of this onto the actual parchment paper when you're making that. That's going to be important because once you set that down, that's going to determine kind of the size of your praline. If your spoon's too small, your pralines are going to be inky dinky. And if your spoon's too big, then your pralines are going to be way too huge. You won't get a couple dozen out of this batch. Another thing is the temperature that when you start to do these. I've done it 3 times now. The first time I probably waited too long because it solidifies really fast. Yesterday was my best. It's my 3rd time to do it, and I was a little bold. I felt like maybe I was panning them out a little too early, but it turns out it was perfect. The mixture was still a little bit runny. The pecans were starting to suspend. As soon as they started to suspend, I put them onto the parchment paper. And you know, kind of when it's hotter, it's going to be runnier. So when you start plating it out onto your parchment paper, it won't take quite as much in the spoon because it's going to come off the spoon a lot easier. Now, the longer that you wait, the more will stick to the spoon, and you'll see I kind of have a little technique where I kind of bang out the spoon a little bit because it starts to stick. I'm telling you, it happens real fast. I've been going out this now on medium-high heat for about, we've probably been going here for about 15 minutes now, and I'm starting to get a little bit of foam. It's probably not long enough that I've been cooking it. It's probably, my heat was a little high because I was excited because I was making a video. But you want to go, once it starts to foam around the edges like it's kind of started now, you only want to go for about 5 more minutes. So I kind of turn my heat up just a little bit because I'm going to go ahead and cook these out and get them on a plate. So let me show you. I don't want to, it's going to be hard, I got to go fast. Okay, look, I want you to see what this looks like. It's kind of starting to, see how it's kind of bubbling and it's around the edges at first, when that's going into the middle of the mixture also. We're going to maintain that for 5 minutes. And I don't really want to leave that. I'm going to keep stirring. Just keep going at it. Constantly moving that sugar around, breaking it down. And I look at my clock so that I know exactly 5 minutes. And then we'll remove it from the heat. Always stirring, always stirring. So it'll come off the heat and we'll still keep stirring it. You're going to constantly keep this mixture moving. And that's it. Here in a minute we're going to have some pralines on a plate, so stay tuned. Okay, I have a kind of a bad camera angle. I'm trying to set it up so you can see me plate them on my parchment. I've taken it off the heat. I was going to show you guys too something that they showed us at the school. When you take a glass of water and you put some of this, you can test your candy mixture in water, and if it hits the water and it solidifies in the water, see, it's solidified. It's hard to tell in there, but it solidifies and it goes down. That's good. Now you've taken this off the heat, so this is the most critical time to continue to stir this. And these are going to start to become suspended in the mixture. And I'm using a wooden spoon still to stir this until I start to plate the pralines out. It doesn't take long for this to come down in temperature and for you to start plating. Now, something about these pecans too is that they tend to float to one side and sink to the bottom. So when you're plating, you kind of have to make sure that you're getting pecans and equal pecans in every praline, or you know, they'll come out funny. You'll have some that have glumps and some that don't have any. Okay, this is pretty close. This is about where I was yesterday. So I'm gonna start plating. I think we're ready. It starts to become solid. Wish you could kind of see. I guess maybe you can a little bit. Kind of looks like peanut butter almost. Like a light peanut butter. Okay, so I'm done with this. Throw that spoon in there, and then I take my metal spoon, and I'm just gonna start going at it. And you'll see, you kind of have to be fast because they dry pretty fast. And I just... Why did my damn video stop? I was plating up the damn pralines, and the thing stopped. I don't know what happened. Maybe I bumped something. Anyway, they turned out real damn good. So I was plating them. There they are. I got 23, so I almost got 24. That's good enough, because I'll probably eat about 5 of those. All right, enjoy your pralines. Have a good day.